Starting in June, families with 3 or more children under 19 will qualify for fast-track airport services, granting them priority departure under new policies aimed at addressing the country's low birth rate.
저출생 대책으로 마련된 새로운 정부 정책에 따라 오는 6월부터 미성년 자녀를 3명 이상 둔 가족은 공항에서 우선출국 서비스를 이용할 수 있게 됩니다. So, as a mum of 2, I was
You would
able
not
to.
qualify.
I would not qualify, but I was able to use the fast track system until my kids were 24 months old. So
Okay.
normally, kids that are under 24 months, so 2 years old, they can go to the fast track lane regardless of the number of kids.
Does this really address the country's low birth rate, though?
No, but I mean, my experience was just for the younger kids.
Right.
But now they're saying if you have 3 kids that are underage, so I guess up to 18 or something.
Yeah.
18,
Under
right?
19.
Yeah, so it's going to make flying a little bit more convenient, I guess, for families with a lot of children.
Right.
Yeah.
So this priority services will be available at Incheon, Gimpo, Gimhae, and Jeju by June. But the thing that I found that stuck out to me is the families have to have at least 3 children under 19.
Right.
But however, they don't all have to be traveling together.
Oh.
Only one parent has to be traveling with at least one child.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm questioning
You'd need
how
the
this.
documents then. You'd have to carry
I
documents.
guess. And I'm just
showing-
questioning
yeah.
how this is going to address the country's low birth. Are people going to say, "Oh, well, we could get fast track service on a flight. Let's have more kids."
children.
It
I guess
doesn't
that's
make
what
sense to me.
the officials are hoping for, but in a more realistic, pragmatic sense,
Right.
that might not be the solution to this problem. A lot of the time,
personally, I don't
like-
see how this addresses anything.
yeah, a lot of the time it is an economic issue. It's like not just flying and
Right.
traveling, but it's how much money you have, who's going to take care of the kids. It's a very complicated issue.
Yeah, it is. And so one other thing that they've decided, because they realize that large families have to spend a lot of money when they travel, especially booking hotels, is that they're saying that occupancy limits, often there's caps at 4 guests.
Yeah.
They're saying those regulations are going to be relaxed. So the government's collaborating with the hospitality industry, and they plan to increase the availability of family-friendly rooms, and also excluding infants and toddlers from that guest count. So
Okay.
I guess this obviously is only going to be relevant in Korea. They can't
Yeah.
affect this in other countries.
But I think this would be more beneficial for, say, American families traveling to Korea because American families tend to be bigger. They tend to have more children in general than Koreans. Most people
Possibly.
these days only have one,
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see if it works. It'll take a few
I guess
years.
that would only
results to show.
maybe make tourism a little bit more attractive to foreigners, but again, that doesn't address the country's low birth rate at all.
It is,
So
like I said, it's a very deep-rooted
Right.
and very complex
Yeah.
issue. It's not just about traveling.
no.
But anyway, what's a fast track service, or in this case,
if we're
airport
talking about
service?
any time you hear fast track, it means something happens quicker than it normally would.
Yeah.
So fast track airport services, obviously, you're going to get quicker service at the airport. You're going to get to, and they mentioned departure. You're going to get off first. You can also use this word. So you might hear that somebody is on the fast track. A lot of times they'll say someone's on the fast track to success.
Okay.
Usually at a company or maybe in their career, you can tell that they are doing really well and that they are kind of ahead of their peers at the same age.
남들보다 앞서가는 그런 어떤 직장 동료 얘기를 할 때 they're on the fast track to success 이렇게 표현할 수 있겠네요. 그래서 fast track는 지금 여기서는 우선 탑승을 얘기하는데 우리 놀이동산에서도 이런 표현 쓰죠. At amusement parks, when the lines are really, really
Yes.
long, if you pay extra,
Fast track
you
pass.
can go on that.
They're
fast.
expensive though.
They are expensive.
They're
yeah.
really expensive.
But you can save that much time.
It might be worth it, right? Especially if you're only. I've looked up some of them, and some of them are extremely
are they?
expensive,
Oh, okay.
like a lot more than a regular pass. But if it's a one-time thing and
Yeah.
you want to experience all the rides, then maybe it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. If there's like maybe only one or two of you, it might not be that burdensome. But if you have
some of them are
a lot of kids, okay, they're really expensive.
Oh yeah, like more than double.
Oh, that much. Okay.
And amusement parks are really expensive. All of them are expensive now.
Well, really popular rides, they often lead to really long lines where you have to wait an hour sometimes. So,
I remember as a kid waiting like 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah.
For certain rides.
So then you get to think, maybe I should pay extra.
Yeah, back in the 90s, they didn't even have fast track options.
You just had to wait.
You just had to wait, right?
That's right. 그래요. 자, 놀이동산에서도 그런 거 있죠? 예, 먼저 좀 짧은 줄로 가가지고 탑승할 수 있는 거. 근데 표가 좀 더 비싸긴 하지만 그것도 다 fast track lane이라고 부를 수 있습니다. And to grant someone something.
To give someone something. And usually we use it, it's more an official way. So someone, you might be granted a visa. Countries, if there's refugees, they'll grant asylum, giving them a place to stay. Also, you might ask someone permission for something. Maybe you ask a boss or a parent and they grant you permission.
So granting is a sort of official word. You wouldn't use it to your friends, I guess. I grant you.
Yeah,
something,
sometimes in conversation, if you're having a debate with somebody and they convince you or they say a point and you say, okay, I agree with you because I grant you that. People say that like, okay, I'll give you that point. I didn't think of that. You're right. Let me consider that.
그 말 맞네. I grant you that. 이렇게 표현할 수도 있겠군요. 일상 대화에서는. 근데 보통 이제 grant, G-R-A-N-T라는 동사를 쓰게 되면은 누군가에게 승인을 해준다, 허락을 한다 이런 의미가 있습니다.
And if you remember Aladdin, always in fairy tales when there's a genie, they grant 3 wishes. That's the phrase that I think most English-speaking children hear it first. The genie will grant you 3 wishes.
Yes, 맞아요. Grant someone their wish. 이것도 이제 소원을 들어준다라는 뜻인데 이게 뭐 승인하다, 허락하다라고 우리는 하진 않지만 영어로는 다 똑같이 grant라고 합니다. 그러니까 뭔가 부여해주는 것 같은 느낌도 있어요. Grant someone something. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 제가 읽어보겠습니다. Starting in June, families with 3 or more children under 19 will qualify for fast-track airport services, granting them priority departure under new policies aimed at addressing the country's low birth rate. Now let's move on to the second headline.